Hey, what is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we are here every Wednesday night. I am your host, Stevie. This is episode 472, alongside my partner in crime, Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. When you said, hey, I almost answered you. I was like, oh, me. Hi.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
We are in front of a live virtual audience, and I see some of you trickling in. Welcome. Don't be afraid to put in your comments, say hi, weigh in, and we will get to you. So much to talk to on this episode. We do just need to acknowledge the fires that are occurring in Canada that have made the smoke has made its way to where you and I are located in the northeastern part of the country. But Pennsylvania is feeling it. Philadelphia, of course. Washington is ourselves here in New York, and really bad out there, right?
It is insane. I went outside and I could smell burning wood. And that's from Canada. I could not believe it. So I had my mask on. I got to go grab an N95. Yes.
Bad. I had to wear my mask as well because it just, we're back to that. And anyways.
Sorry. Bryce said burning wood is a porno.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
He got me this time. He got me.
Live audience is already coming through. I love it. Okay. Well, we love it when you guys weigh in. And one of our first comments comes from Sinfully Good on Instagram, who always does a great talks to you and I and puts us in a group chat on there. He was talking about our last episode 471. And we were talking about sober sex and the difference between when you've been either under the influence of poppers or maybe some of the alcohol, of course. Of course, there's other things. We didn't talk about that, but
I kind of did. I tried to.
Okay. He wrote, as someone who has never had anything but sober sex, as I have never indulged in any extracurricular substances, including poppers and alcohol, every sexual act, he writes, that I have had has been in a sober frame of mind. For me, I feel it truly lets you take in the full experience and be 100% present in the moment. It also makes you conscious of questionable situations where it may not be a safe for yourself or other individuals involved, especially if they are under the influence. People are always saying to me, so you're telling me that every situation you've been in, you've been sober. And he said, I'm like, yeah, that's correct. I can't speak on what it's like to have non-sober sex. But for me, I find sober sex to be very fulfilling. And it's nice to be able to wake up the next morning and remember every single stroke from the night before. I like that.
I do too. To each their own. Do you. Live your best sober life, darling.
Yeah, right. We're going to be having some more guests on the show coming up that are going to be talking about Tantra and BDSM and to really feel your sexual experiences. So this goes right in line with that too. So, okay. Also, Brian Maurice wrote in to us saying, hey, loved episode 471. And I wanted to share an article with you that provides some insight as to why Black and brown men aren't getting on access to PrEP. It really boils down to an unhealthy cultural relationship with healthcare. Some of us grow up watching our parents and grandparents exhibit skepticism of doctors and only go when there is no other choice. There are other socioeconomic factors that play into it, but this short article, and he sent it to us, and I read it. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, but it's really good by filtermag.org. I'll post this on TAGSPodcast because it's definitely worth a really good read.
It was really great.
One of the things they said in here, if I could just quote a few things, that HIV infections could be hitting Black men more because of the silence they experience in the doctor's office. And I think that's what Brian was alluding to. Only 43% of Black men who sleep with men included in the recent CDC report had discussed PrEP with their physician in the past year. And more than half, 58% of white men who sleep with men respondents talked with their doctors about the medication, which is still far too low. For respondents who had health insurance and ended up talking to their doctors, Black men still saw the lowest rates of PrEP, 57%, while white men, of men who sleep with men, enjoyed the highest, 70%. The CDC researchers noted that this could be due to unsupportive relationships the Black and brown patients experience with their doctors, being more likely to experience communication difficulties, such as trouble understanding their doctor, feeling like their doctor did not listen to them or did not ask the questions they would have liked or expected, and feeling less involved in decisions regarding their own health care than do whites. They go on to talk about health insurance, that PrEP is a highly effective, underrepresented preventative tool. Further efforts to improve outcomes along the HIV PrEP continuum of care for all men who sleep with men, and to address racial ethnic disparities. It's a good article. I'll post it up on TAGSPodcast.com. Like I said, you know, the one thing about the conversation with your doctor that resonated with me that I've heard before is there's not maybe there's a lack of Black and brown doctors out there.
Ding, ding, ding.
That wasn't mentioned in the article, nor mentioned but I think seeing yourself in somebody, you know, my doctor is Indian from India and Indian American. He is straight. I've had to learn, but I'm also of an age now, I'm 52, and I got over myself and got into a period where now I bring up certain things like swabbing orally and anally for my STIs when I go see him. He is totally all about it and appreciates that I take initiative into it. I really like him. I'm not about to change doctors right now. So, but this is taking me a long time to get up that gumption to have that honest conversation with him about some of these things. But, you know, the more sex we have, I was even thinking, we were talking on the last episode of going to the free clinic where I'm also registered to get in between STI checks, because, you know, every time I go to my doctor, if I do get an STI, I'm not saying I'm like getting them all the time, but if I do, it goes on.
Nothing wrong if you did, by the way. Okay. No judgment.
Okay. I would look at it if it was becoming an issue, but you know, it gets put on my patient portal and noted every single time, where, you know, if I want to keep track of it, not that he's going to be judging me, but I also have another out. In other words, I've made it work for me where, you know, if I feel like I'm having more sex in between my 3-month checkup for PrEP, I might go to the free clinic for STI checkups in between before I have to see my doctor. But it's taking me a long time to be comfortable with him. What do you think about the article and what you know, being represented by somebody that looks like you?
Yeah, no, I totally hear that. My doctor is white. However, I have had Black doctors before, and being able to connect with them on that level is definitely, it's wonderful. It's liberating. It makes you feel like you're seen and heard. And I think that because my doctor right now is gay, that is the outlet that I need in order for him to, he actually has a Black son as well. So that really goes a long way to making me feel like I can talk to him about certain things, like there's no judgment in the space. So it does go a long way. Something that I kind of want to delve into a little bit about why Black people are kind of distrusting of doctors. And it goes back a long time. And speaking of like things like the Tuskegee experiment, when these Black airmen were injected with syphilis. So after you hear about something like that, then you definitely have something in the back of your mind that says, oh, don't listen to doctors, don't trust doctors. So it is a cultural thing. And I think that, like I was saying in our conversation, that on Monday, that the more we talk about things, the easier it will become for us to overcome these hurdles that really are plaguing our community.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that you said you have a gay doctor. So many of listeners that have written in, somebody just moved from another state into New York, and they DM'd me and asked me, can you tell me your doctor? I'm looking for a primary care doctor who's gay. And I said, you know what? I can't because mine's straight. And, but I hear you. And I think it's really important that if that's important to you, you need to seek that out, because you're probably going to have a better open dialogue.
Yeah, it makes me feel really comfortable. I really feel like I've seen him at the gym. I feel like I've seen him at Pride before. It really is. It's like he's my doctor, but he's kind of, in a way, a friend. We keep that distance or what have you, but he's kind of a friend, and it makes me feel really comfortable. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah, we got some comments that we'll read in just a sec, but last thing I want to just say on that is I think that, you definitely want to feel comfortable with whoever your primary care doctor is. I think that in certain communities where you didn't talk about any of that, I'm talking about Black and brown communities, where coming out is a whole big thing.
Yeah.
We need to start looking at the various diversities and the way communities respect and understand LGBTQ identities. And then we have to talk about health. And ultimately, sadly, I think you've got to be your own advocate and
Amen.
Find out who is right for you and be open to discussing some of this. But like you said, more conversation, I think is the key. Jeremy, I believe, said that on last episode as well. Mm-hmm. What are some of the people saying that are watching us live?
Teddy says these pre-programs are filled with gatekeeping as well. So that's why you don't see as many Black doctors. I was going to mention that, but I was like, oh, we have only so much time.
Yeah, right.
And Bryce says that he agrees with Teddy. It's all very true. And old medical books literally have in print that Black people have thicker skin, and to deny them medication when they are in pain because doctors think Black people will abuse medication. So that it adds another layer. Yeah, when you're not thought of as a complete human being, when you're only 3/5 of a human, then that goes a long way to having a sort of mindset that you don't feel pain in the same way. So there is so much. There's so much history, and there's so many reasons why things are like they are in the medical field regarding people of color.
Well spoken, and I think we're just tapping on the surface of all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Let's continue this conversation because I think it's important. We want everybody to get the health care that they need to be safe and enjoy hot gay sex.
Amen.
Say that at the end of every episode. Okay, well.
Oh, is it time to go already?
It's not time to go
yet.
We
Okay.
Just started, y'all. And, it's Pride season, as we all know. And sadly, the human rights HRC has said that we are in a state of emergency. The Human Rights Campaign has declared a state of emergency for LGBTQ plus people in the U.S. for the first time in more than 40 years, following what it calls an unprecedented and dangerous spike in anti-LGBTQ plus legislative assaults sweeping state houses this year. In a report that was released by HRC this past Tuesday, LGBTQ plus Americans Under Attack notes that more than 75 anti-LGBTQ plus bills that have been signed into law in 2023, more than doubling the number in 2022, previously the worst year on record. HRC also issued a national warning and a downloadable guidebook, which I'll post this on TAGSPodcast.com, for the LGBTQ plus community, and it includes health and safety resources, a summary of state-by-state laws, quote-unquote, know your rights information, and resources designed to support LGBTQ plus travelers, as well as those already living in hostile states. So this was according to a press release that just came out. And it's kind of sad, Kodi, that this comes out in Pride Month, but yeah. I understand why it's coming out. And I like that people, the groups like the HRC are stepping up and warning folks on how to be careful and, know just what's going on.
Yeah.
When we talk about things like this, it's not that uncommon to report on a California school. I'm talking about Glendale, where you think like, what's happening in California? But Glendale in Glendale, a whole fight erupted outside the California school board meeting over Pride Month because they were talking about potentially putting in LGBTQ topics in schools. And 200 people showed up outside the district's office to protest, but it ended up in a fist fight with the parents. It's gotten that serious in California. On top of that, in Arizona, a pride flag was burned outside a city hall, and the FBI is investigating a bomb threat made to an LGBTQ-owned coffee shop nearby. So these things are real because they're actually happening right now during Pride Month. They're happening all year. What are your thoughts on this? And then we have some other things that people are poking the bear, as I like to say, and igniting, not in a good way.
Not in a good way, right?
No, not in a good way.
I like poking a bear, but...
Is that normally a positive statement?
With me, it is. I like poking a bear. Like, poking them back there, poking this bear's back there. I love it.
Oh, the bear community, of course.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But poking the bear is an old saying about, when you are poking and prodding the bear and the bear is pretty angry and you get your head bit off. That's what that is.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got it right. You did it. Good job, boo. Yeah. So everybody is issuing warnings now. The NAACP is issuing warnings. Now the HRC is coming out. It's crazy. This country is in a rough spot. I cannot believe it. It makes me so sad. And then I saw this fight erupting outside of a school. Is this what we have devolved to? What? Just because somebody wants to teach someone else about diversity, we want to fist fight outside of a school, which has a more negative impact on the children, do you think? The teaching people about diversity or actually physically fighting somebody who is just trying to be themselves? I was watching a interview with Laverne Cox the other day. Oh. Well, today, she was dropping gems. She's amazing. I live for her. But she said that when someone takes issue with someone else being happy and living their best life, it has more to do with that person having unresolved issues within themselves. And that is literally all I see when I look at this fight and having to issue statements is fragile masculinity and unresolved issues. But it's really sad.
It's really sad, and it's all, in my mind, low-hanging fruit of where we are in the state of the world right now. In other words, I don't think anybody had a problem with teaching about Harvey Milk and gay people have existed for years and have had major accomplishments. And I think it would be remiss to not teach about Stonewall. Like, it was a huge turning point in a huge community in the historical sense. So that's what they're talking about. We're just going to wipe that out in history books as if it didn't happen. That's, but what has happened is states like Florida they've labeled this thing called grooming. And it's a whole state that we're currently in, a head state that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And people, they used it because we're in a divisive world right now. And it's all, you can just see it. I mean, it's so obvious on why it's all happening.
Completely.
Yeah. So
it's really, it's just bad. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just going to say, Khalidad watching us live. Hey, Khalidad.
Hey, Khalidad.
HRC is absolutely correct. Glendale used to be a SoCal KKK hub. Oh, my goodness.
That's so shocking to me.
It is pretty conservative, so I kind of get it. We're not sure what era, but sure. Now the white nationalist churches are organized against the LGBTQIA plus community, Black community, and women's bodily autonomy. Doug, watching us live, also says, you would have to wonder how many of the protesters didn't even have children in the school. Good point. And yes, exactly. Good point. On July 5th, we are having somebody that's been on the show early on. We're at episode 472, but he was on episode 85, and I'm talking about Zachary Zane. He's a columnist, he's bisexual, and he really speaks to the community. Well, he has a brand new book called Boy Slut, showing the book right now, and it just came out. Ooh, and it's nice all just like essays of him coming out and what it meant to be bisexual. And I've started reading it. It's really juicy and good. And he will be on the show on July 5th, but I could not think of a better summer read to recommend to you all, Boy Slut, to have in your arsenal of your repertoire. Because bring this to the beach, lie out with it. I think it's going to be the book. And bring your questions, because Zachary will be here on July 5th. Ooh. We've got to move on. And, we love us some Michael Henry. And if you don't know, we've talked about Michael Henry before. He posts this really provocative, thought-provoking videos on YouTube about our gay existence, often sexual in nature. And in this, did you watch it, Kodi?
I did. It was really good.
The title of it reads, "How would you feel about a friend who informs you the guy you're hooking up with has HIV?" This is so timely because we were just talking about this on U equals U, undetectable equals untransmittable on episode 471. And this is kind of a perfect real life situation that could occur. Essentially in the skit, and I'll post it on TAGSPodcast.com, Michael Henry's getting it on at a pool party. I'll just do my due diligence of telling you off the cuff, because I could read more, but essentially he's hooking up with the guy, and then we see these other two hot guys above, and they're talking about their life, and one of them sees Michael Henry, and they think that they should warn Michael that the guy that he's hooking up with and making out with is HIV positive. And both of them think that one of us should warn the other one. So the one goes up to Michael in a break because the guy that Michael's making out with goes to the restroom, and he says, "Oh, I see you're having a good time with this guy. Well, just FYI," and he leans him in closer and says, "Just so you know, he's HIV positive. And I thought you should know that." Michael's character, or Michael in general, actually takes offense by that and says, "You don't divulge somebody else's HIV status. That's not cool. And number two, why would you think that I wouldn't know enough to ask and take care of myself?" And we'll let everybody watch it. And again, I'll post it on tagspodcast.com. I do think it's a 3.5 minute or so video, and I think it's very direct and to the point, and I think we need more of these types of videos, I would say, because of what we were talking about the other day on episode 471 about there is still stigma out there. So I think that Michael's character is a little preachy in it about saying you never divulge. I do, honestly. And I think that this was a simplistic version of a scenario that could occur, and where I do think he was dismissive of his friend. I do think friends talk, whether you like it or not. I get on the phone with my sister or some of my BFFs, including you, Kodi. And we say things that are in just you and I, or just me and my confidence, that I know I can just say something and you're not going to judge me, and it might be a little un-PC or not right, but I know I can say something to you and you're going to be my soundboard. And it might not always be the prettiest thing that comes out of my mouth. I'm venting, and I know I can vent to you. I'm just being honest. So do I think it was a little preachy on Michael Henry's character? Yes, because the other one was sharing information. Do I think that we need more videos like this? Yes, because people are taking care of themselves. U equals U is real. And we need more conversations like this, more videos like this. So I was a little bit mixed on both of it. What were your thoughts, though?
I think that I see your point. Definitely. I do think that this is a great video. Like you said, it is going to help people understand so much more about HIV, and that's what we need a lot of. It's education. We need to disseminate this information out to people so that they can do their due diligence and protect themselves and do what they need to do and take their medicine or what have you. But I see what you're saying about it being a little bit preachy, and I did get that. I was wondering where the anger came from as far as his character speaking to his friend, because it seemed like the friend was just trying to help, and there was a kinder way to get that message across. So I think if you took the anger out of it, it would come across as less preachy. So, but that does not take away from the message for me personally, because I do think that it is a very good message. You should not be outing people in any form or fashion. If you're transgender, anybody is gay, you shouldn't be outing anybody's status for their HIV either, because it takes their autonomy away. And I think that once you realize that they are people as well, and you have to give them their own autonomy and have them be able to take care of themselves as well as take care of other people. I could see if maybe it was after the fact, but then it would be a little bit too late. I'm kind of just spitballing right here.
Well, let me just jump in here. I do think that if we were to look at the guy coming to Michael, mm-hmm. and it's already coming from a warning standpoint, we should already be beyond warning standpoint in our culture, where we do know that people are living years and years with U equals U, undetectable equals untransmittable, and that there are things you can do to take care of yourself that you will 98% not get HIV. And so I guess I liked where he was coming from, where we should start getting away from this warning of people like, ooh, he's HIV positive. It's like, no, we need to get out of that.
Yeah.
Because that's where the stigma prevails, and we need to move outside of that. Great. People are living like we're way beyond that, right? Mm-hmm. At this point. Was it a friend thing to do? Sure. Did he sort of scold the friend and say, the more I think about it, it's probably good. It's like, boo, I'm good. I take care of myself. Did I tell a recent story where a friend of mine knew that the person he was with was HIV positive? Because I think he knew that this guy was HIV positive. And he told me he was getting a little bit worried because he saw a little pre-cum, but it was just in his head. And I said, well, did you have a conversation? And maybe next time the conversation needs to be, where are you at with and if the guy said I'm undetectable, then that needs to be new information in your arsenal that you put forth.
I agree.
And so I'm glad that Michael's putting these videos out. Is it perfect? No. Is he really putting out real life situations that we're all going through sexually and have questions about? Yes. Mm-hmm. And pushing that stigma out? Yes. And I think it's great, ultimately.
Yes, I completely agree with you. And something that just kind of dawned on me, when you out somebody like that, it brings more shame to the status of HIV. So that's why you have to do more to take into consideration their humanity and who they are as a person, and take the shame out of it, because you're looking at them like the people that are fighting in front of the school or Justin Bieber's dad. So
okay, yeah, and let's be real, like
bring it on back.
A friend shouldn't go up to somebody that they're vibing with and use that just FYI.
Yeah.
It's like, so what? It's like, I had an STI last month. Whatever. It's coming from a negative place, I think. A
shaming place.
It
should never come from that.
And Teddy, watching us live, says, can we talk about sharing this information could be illegal if he is a medical person?
True.
So
we don't know how he knows.
Yeah, right. And exactly. So, do I think the video was a little simplistic in nature? Yes. Do I think that it was a little preachy? Yes. Do I think that we need more of these videos to have these conversations? Yes. And let's keep them going. Maybe you and I can start, because we want to produce stuff. So
let's do it. Michael Henry usually does really funny things, so I feel like he should just injected a little bit more levity into this. I don't know how you could, but I know he's smart enough to do it. So
exactly. Okay. Well, let's keep the conversation going on this. We have to move on. And one of the things that was recently announced by Apple was their new Vision Pro 3D camera.
Ooh.
Did you see this?
My birthday's coming up.
Oh, well, that's Joe. It's a little bit of it's over $3,000, and I think it goes over your, it's like goggles, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's AI, and it's virtual, and you can experience all these things. Well, there's a brand new article that generated 25 hotties that are AI generated, and they all look pretty hot.
Oh, yeah.
And the question is, would you go for this in reality? If each of the men in the following slides, and I will post this on TAGSPodcast, was created using artificial intelligence algorithms that generate ultra realistic images of people who don't actually exist, would you want to spend an evening with one of these people?
Oh.
And you could have a whole night with one of these people. And I looked through some of the 27, and they were sexy, AI generated. They looked a little bit like the one you created for yourself, Kodi, when that whole Instagram thing was going around and you created
don't you
that.
mean me right now, staring right back at you?
Is that what I mean? I'm not sure that's what I mean, but it does lead us to the question, are we headed towards this type of dating that if you're so over the apps and you're so over trying to meet somebody when you go to the bars, if you could just put on this thing and have an amazing time with Jean-Pierre, I just made that name up, and you could have a Bordeaux wine because he found out that you're into wine, and you can have wine and dine with this person, would you do it?
Yes, totally. An AI boyfriend is not cheating. I would have 8 AI boyfriends. Okay. I asked Siri, and she said no. An AI boyfriend is not cheating. So they were all hot. There were so many diverse guys. There was brown guys. There were black guys. There were big guys, thicker guys. There were skinnier guys. There were guys with hair. There were guys with no hair. I'm down for an AI boyfriend. I'm going to have a conversation with my current boyfriend, and that is the way to go. And we're going to discuss if AI boyfriends are cheating or not, because that's the responsible thing to do when you're in a relationship. Yes?
It is the most responsible thing to do. For me personally, I don't think I would.
Why not?
Here's where I would do it, if I'm going to be really honest. If they get to the point where I could try certain BDSM things that I wanted to try, just to see if I would like it. If they could generate a whole BDSM moment that I haven't tried yet, and I wanted to experience that, to see if I was really into it or not. Because a lot of people try BDSM. Next week, we've got Master Joshua and Kat on our show, BDSM experts, and we're going to be talking all about that. That I think that could be interesting to me to know if I want to move on forward with that. But in terms of meeting people, no, I wouldn't. I would always be in my mind that this isn't real, and I love living in the moment. So Bryce wrote, what if that AI boyfriend dumps you? I don't need that stress. They're programming them not to dump anybody. So hopefully that would never happen.
Knowing me, all my AI boyfriends would dump me. So I'm a handful, girl.
Yeah. Would you guys do it? Are you interested in this new thing? Put it in the comment section and let us know.
I can make a quick poll.
Do a quick poll and we'll find. But Bryce already says, nope, their eyes are creepy. I'm with you. Eyes are creepy. Definitely. Okay. Well, we've got to move on to some advice. And one of them came, which I've been thinking about recently. They write, has anyone stayed at a gay resort? What was it like and would you recommend? I'm looking in Florida, mainly Key West or Fort Lauderdale, but I'm open to anywhere. And when they write that, I've stayed at Island House in the past, and I have had great times at a gay resort, Kodi. Island House comes to mind because it was clothing optional. They had a little cafe there. They had the pool area. They had a area where you could get like what would you call it? 3 different hot tubs and an area essentially where it was like a dark room. And you could mix it up, rinse and repeat. And I really enjoyed it. It's not the vacation I want to do all the time, but it's definitely worth doing once in your lifetime, I think, for sure, where you just want to just have a down and dirty time and be with your people and be naked and be free, be sexual and get it on. I'm here for it. What are your thoughts, Kodi?
Oh, highly recommend. I've done one in Puerto Vallarta, Pinata PV. It was so much fun. It was when they first opened. I know, and I'm acquaintances with the owners, and we got a great room. I went with my best friend. We went for New Year's, I believe, and we had a great time. They have parties there, so
Nice.
it's easy to meet more people in wherever you are, and it's easier to meet MEAT more people where you're staying as well. So it was really, really good. It was really fun. I highly recommend it.
Piggybacking off of Puerto Vallarta, I've stayed at Casa Cupola before, and it's a gay men's resort there too. And they have a great restaurant in there. They've got a gym. It's beautifully located in the hills, so you get great views. You're not by the ocean, but it's a short walk to the beach. And they do, I believe, a party on one of their second pools that's naked once a week. They also do another party on Friday nights that's on the main pool. You meet other people, you can have fun with other people, and I do recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun, and for that type of vacation where you want to be sexually provocative and free, everyone should experience it once in their life, and you'll be surprised on how you get into it.
And it's a new experience. I say experience as much as you can in this life, because you never know when the wildfires are going to be burning in Canada. So.
Okay, what are people saying before I move on to our next Reddit thread?
Oh, man. I didn't want to say it, but I couldn't help myself. So, wow. Okay. Cali Dad says gay resorts are the way to go. I've gone to several clothing optional gay resorts in Palm Springs. Steve hit the nail on the head. Bryce says, I'll go to a gay resort if they have bottomless martinis. I'm sure you can make that happen, Bryce. And they're just making jokes about being bottomless now. So
I love it. All right. It's a perfect time to talk about our Tags Pride promo giveaway, where if you go to adamstoybox.com, you can get 25% off the entirety of the site. All you got to do is use our promo code at checkout, TAGS25, and you'll get 25% off everything. They got everything: lube, toys, cock rings, clothing. So check it out. Take advantage of it. It's till the end of Pride, the end of June. But you can also enter our Pride promo giveaway, and we're giving away one of 2 giveaways. And it's toys and some other tag swag. All you got to do is go to TAGSPodcast.com and click on the link, Tags promo giveaway. Take our survey. It will help us out, but you'll be entered to win. And thank you guys I see all of you guys' emails and coming through. I really appreciate it. So it will only help us improve. If you've noticed, we've made some changes recently and we'll continue to tweak. Okay, let's do one more. Reddit thread, and this person wrote in and they wrote, when meeting for a hookup, but then turned off in person, do you normally go through with the hookup or leave? He writes, do you guys normally go through with the hookup even though you're turned off by whatever reason or just leave? I personally cannot force myself to do anything when I'm turned off and leave by saying I don't want hookups. The trigger for me is bad dental hygiene, as I love kissing during sex, but don't want to do it when the other person's teeth is okay. They go on and on. I think the whole point being is,
and they also said they went to the hookup, but they don't hook up. That is counterintuitive to me. I don't understand what's going on there. But okay, all right.
Can I be honest though? On a recent hookup, so I have said on this show ad nauseum that I don't do well on the apps and I don't really do them. There's one that I do that I think we had somebody from Sniffies on our show.
We did,
and I like that one. For those of you who don't know, sniffies.com. If you go on there, it's not an app. It's actually a platform that's just, you can go on your laptop and it uses GPS. You can be anonymous. You can put more information if you want. And it's really looking at people within the area for that moment. I actually like it. A guy that I was talking to recently hit me up in my local area. I went over there and I was into his apartment though. Can I say that, Kodi? It was, New York has so many treasures in this city. When you walk into certain apartments,
that's very Carrie Bradshaw of you. You know that, right?
God. I was like obsessed with, this is his townhouse. And I was so obsessed. You're very Carrie Bradshaw, but I think maybe he misrepresented himself a little bit in his look and so forth. And we went into the bedroom and I started to go there and I just had to be honest. I said, you know what? I can't. I'm not feeling it right now. It's really me though. I said, it's really me. And I have to go. And he actually was really cool about it. And I left. And that was the end of it. He still hit me up though recently. Oh, I don't know why, but
you did block him? Can you block on Snippy?
I don't think you can block on Snippy.
Oh, okay.
But
they need to incorporate that.
I know. So what are your thoughts on this?
No, I hear you. So when I was much, much, much younger, I was on...
We're talking about
1963. Back in the 1900s. When I would go to a hookup. No, it was maybe 98, 99. I was of age then, barely of age then. I went to, I think I was on like Adam for Adam or something like that, of that nature, like a web-based hookup app. And this guy definitely misrepresented himself. I went to his hotel, and when I saw him, I said to myself, this is not the same person. But I was so young that I didn't necessarily stop it. I actually went in and I had sex with him, and I didn't necessarily want to. So I think that as I've grown and I have learned about myself and learned about what I like and who I am as a person and who I want to be in this world, I am more apt to say what I want and who I am, and that this is not working for me. I remember in the beginning of the pandemic, it wasn't Joe. I was on Grindr and I went to go hook up at this guy's house. It wasn't the beginning, it was near the end. So don't worry, I wasn't giving COVID to nobody, y'all. Right. And I went over his house and neither one of us were really feeling it. And I said, you know what? Let's call it a day. I'm going to go back to my house. I live literally around the corner and we're going to be fine. You'll be okay. I'll be okay. So
I do think it's fine to be honest, because you really don't know, especially somebody that doesn't do well on the apps. And I'm used to meeting people in person. Yeah, if you're not feeling it when you meet up with them, it's fine to say, I'm not into this, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. And it's not, you don't have to worry about hurting their feelings, because I really feel like you have to do what makes you happy at the end of the day, because it's you only have yourself to live with. And I think that I learned from that experience. If I hadn't had that experience back when I was two in 1998, no, I was 18 probably. I was probably 18. And then I would not know, wouldn't have the confidence to actually be able to tell somebody, I'm just going to go right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was a little over dramatic with my exit routine. I did a little bit of Carrie Bradshaw, a little soap opera. I was, I think
I'm going to faint.
I don't know that I don't know what's going on with me right now. And I don't even know where I'm at right now, but I just think I gotta go. I mean, I was kind of like dramatic like that, and I mean,
that's lovely.
The Little Academy Award. Well,
I was going to say
awards,
Meryl Streep, girl,
a little bit, but I need to get out of that, and not everything is a soap opera moment. Oh my gosh. Okay,
No, we need to read some of these comments.
Okay, read the comments.
They are crazy. So Bryce says a guy showed him an old photo smiling. He came and Bryce opened the door and the man had no teeth. He didn't have the heart to
give you a good blowjob, though. I'll tell you that part.
Gumming it, yes. Bryce didn't have the heart to make him leave, so I told him to sleep on one side of Bryce's bed, and I slept on the other side and went to bed.
Right.
I cannot believe that Bryce kicked them out, child. That's not what we do it in 2023 right now, okay? All right. Teddy says that I'm patient zero, that I caused COVID. So, oh man, I did not cause COVID, y'all. It was before I met Joe, but sometime after the lockdown had lapsed.
To read?
What is it? I don't know.
Okay, so we can move on.
Oh yes, we can move on. Yes.
Should we do our straight up gay porns?
I haven't done it in so long.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, so we're doing the segment that we've done in the past, and it's by Straight Up Gay Porn. And they're asking the question on this episode, which one of these 12 gay porn stars took the best photo? And I have to say they were all really good. I had three of them that I wanted to pick. Our job is to vividly describe on an audio podcast when this gets refurbished, whatever, why we like it. And so I'm just going to go with my first one, and he goes by Third Leg J.
Oh my God, I picked him too. Okay, so I'm glad I picked the second one.
Let me tell you why I picked him, though. And he's called Third Leg J. So you already know the dick is like crazy. I didn't know his name because they post the name at the bottom of it. And I did not pick him, even though I'm a size queen, because of that. I actually picked it because I was like, oh my gosh, his face, his hair, his tattoos. He's got these amazing tattoos on his chest that are written verbiage that I will hope to read at some point. And I just love the expression on his face. And when I scrolled down, then I saw the third leg and I was like, okay, here we go. But it is. I have to say, he's beautiful in and of itself. And what a great selfie. And he gets my number one vote. Who was yours?
So mine, I had a tie this week. And like you said, there are so many hot guys. Mine was Third Leg J and Jeffrey Weiss.
Oh, that was my second pick.
We are so aligned today. I love this. And the reason I picked Jeffrey Weiss is that I feel like you have to take more into consideration when you are judging these pictures, because
we're taking in the dick. What are you talking about? What's more than that?
Maybe that's your goal, but I'm taking in the whole aesthetic. Okay.
Okay, bad.
And Third Leg J, he had all these things. He had shampoo and towels and all these other things in the picture with him. And I was like, no, that's not as aesthetically pleasing. So
oh my
Jeffrey
God!
Weiss
You and Jeremy
he won out just a little bit more, just an inch, and an inch matters. Okay,
he's a little extra stuff in the background when it's not a photo shoot. Boo, I've been to your apartment. It's not always on. Are you saying? I probably should shut up.
No, it's fine. I don't care. My house is not always clean. You should see it right now. I'll turn it around. I'll turn the computer around.
You were supposed to go home last night and clean because you're about to pick up Joe.
I did clean some.
Teddy Alexis says, Alex for Yum Love Me a Blouse. Okay, we'll post this on TAGSPodcast.com and you can vote for yourself. Bryce says, number 1, Conrad Parker. Number 2, Third Leg J. And yeah, I agree. I love it. Thanks for playing, everybody.
It was a really good week. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, this has been so much fun. As always, thank you guys for participating. And you can always follow my co-host, Miss Kodi. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching on Instagram, or follow him on his personal account, Mr. Maurice. Follow me. I am _Steve V. Go to the website, TAGSPodcast.com, and follow us on Twitter, at TAGSPodcast. Thank you guys. So much fun.
Everyone.
Yeah.